Hello!
Hello, Alec.
Hello, Stuart.
We're very zoomed in today because it's time for some small action figures of Mr. Han Solo.
Yeah, because there's a Han Solo movie coming out.
Wow, everybody's been asking for that.
Yeah.
I wonder where he got his vest. I've wondered that for years.
Yeah, it's, well, it's going to exist anyway,
It
isn't
certainly is. Not that anyone would know because they don't seem to have advertised it at all, hardly.
That is true. But to celebrate 40 years of Star Wars figures.
Hell, it is as well, yes, from 1978.
Yeah. So, shall we look at Han Solo figures throughout the decades?
We bloody should.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to bring in the very first one from 1978, a year after the film came out, because they hadn't quite sussed the toy business back then, frankly.
Yeah, movie licenses weren't a thing, and it took them a long time to get those figures out onto the market.
It bloody did, didn't it? I mean, I suppose they'd only sold a handful of Planet of the Apes dolls and maybe a couple of Battlestar Galactica spaceships, and that was the lot. Until Han Solo, intergalactic smuggle gent, came along.
The old smuggle captain himself.
Now, anyone at home realise a small problem with the figure here?
Small problem being the key word.
Yes, his head's too small.
Yeah.
This is referred to as Pinhead Han Solo, and was seen as such a problem in the early line that they actually made a second version with a bigger head, literally with a bigger head. Here he comes. It's the fifth Beetle Han Solo.
Yeah. Stuart Sutcliffe himself.
It's yeah, I mean, it looks a little bit more like Harrison Ford, but also looks dangerously older.
And his head is too big.
Yeah.
They overcompensate. Like,
Oh, his head's too small, is it? I'll show you how to make a head bigger.
I think they're both... the funny thing with these figures, they're both very... they're quite charming in their simplicity.
Yeah.
They're very much of a bygone era.
I mean, old Pinhead here is a bit doughy. It doesn't help that it looks like he shaved one of his eyebrows over the years from the paint wearing off. But, let's give you a good look at this. This figure, it kind of looks to me like a cross between Klinger from MASH and Mr. Spock.
There's a distinct hint of Spock, isn't there?
Yeah. More Spock than Ford, I would have said, which is a great name for a podcast. Somebody make that. Oh, dearie me. But that was A New Hope. Then, years later, came Return of the Jedi. And, well...
You and I have some differing opinions on this figure.
We do. This is Han Solo from Endor with his cloth, I say cloth cape. It was a cloth coat removed. I don't think that looks anything like Harrison Ford at all.
I don't either, but I think it looks slightly more like Harrison Ford than the first one.
I don't know. It looks less like him than the Spock one, I think. This looks more like Alan Titchmarsh or something.
That I'm not going to argue with that. If the BBC is listening, Ground Force action figures, super articulated.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Get a chase figure would be Charlie Dimmock in every package. Yeah, that's amazing. But, I'm still not at all convinced by this. Yeah. And I mean, I know that it was early days and soft sculpting and all that, but this was years after Mego had done the Star Trek, the motion picture figures, which were astonishing.
That is very true. But I don't know, still very early days. I will say, I also think this one looked great with his cloth coat. When he had that originally, his
cloth coat was damn cool. Yeah. That's true. But anyway, they decided that, the problem with this figure was his neck wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
So we then got... Bam, 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 ba-dam, bam. It's completely out of focus, Solo. No, wait, here we go. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Bull neck Han Solo. Oh boy.
His neck is literally thicker than his head.
He's not been skipping neck day.
That's all he's been doing, I think. So this is Han Solo and Carbonite from the rare Last 17, as they're known. It's awful. It's clearly John Goodman.
Yeah, it does have a touch of John Goodman transplanted onto Harrison Ford's body. It's a lot of the details in terms of the sculpt of the materials and stuff are really good. It was just that you could still see they were very much experimenting with that technology there, the sculpting and things.
Experimenting with fucking John Goodman. I think that was the trouble. My
Two
God.
step forwards, 2 steps back with this one, I think.
Oh, well, that's all we've got from the vintage line.
Yeah.
But then, back in 1995 or something?
95,
mid-90s,
yeah.
The Power of the Force 2 came along because they were re-releasing all the films and Star Wars figures were back in the shops. And we were so excited.
Yeah.
I had a job. I bought them all. I don't know why to this day, but I did.
Well, here's an old friend, because we've seen this one before.
Oh, yes.
We'll bring him back. Good old Han Soloflex.
That's, yes. Han Swolo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hench Swolo.
Yeah.
There we are. That's what I'm going for. It's just not really anything. I mean, it has, again, a kind of hint of Harrison Ford to the head, but far too stretched.
Yeah. There's I'm quite nostalgic for these because this was my childhood here.
I was old enough to know better, but I didn't.
Yeah. There's a certain charm to these that in their own strange way. Also, in the 90s, every action figure was hench.
This is true.
If you remember the Jurassic Park figures, Alan Grant and Dennis Nedry were brick shit asses.
And the ground force figures back then, my God, Titchmarsh, he'd bench press a tank.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him. Well, I'm just going to show this one briefly because this does amuse me. Then they made, with the bizarrely angled legs, a good old Hoth Han Solo.
This was my first ever Han Solo action figure.
Nice.
True story.
Same head, still quite swole, but why is his top brown when it's blue in the film?
Yeah,
That's like such a basic thing, guys. Paint it the right colour.
And it's weird because they've got so many of the little details right, but this big one is...
I find that strange to this day.
So moving on to Return of the Jedi and another Han Solo in Carbonite, you can see that they slimmed him down a little since Han Swolo,
yeah,
although he's
same
still
head,
completely
but,
hench.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing with this one is that around the same time they released this figure, there was an ill-fated line of Star Wars figures aimed specifically at girls called the Princess Leia Collection, which was all soft goods, cloth goods figures that were sort of a cross between action figures and dolls. They were all 2-packs that came with Princess Leia and then another character. And one of the 2-packs...
It really doesn't want to focus on this figure.
...came with this version of Han Solo.
You mean the same figure but much better?
Yeah, regularly proportioned. And I remember...
Better detailing too.
Yeah, and lots of people... This is the same time these came out, and I remember lots of people trying to track down these sets because they were by far the best representations of the character that you could get at the time.
See, I had all the Princess Leia collection because they were cheap in Toy Stack.
Right. Yeah.
Except I don't think I had that one because everyone had gone in and bought it.
He used to have a cloth goods Bespin jacket, but that has long since perished.
Oh, yes, I think I did have that one. Actually, yes. Yes, I'm remembering now. Yeah. They also had Luke in his big yellow jacket.
Yes, which looked ridiculous.
Yes, it did.
It's the first figure set in the new line where you could get an Ewok as well.
Oh, that's interesting. And I think it's the only figure ever released of Leia in her sort of celebration gear from the end of the film.
Oh, they did do another one of those subsequently, but it was the first one, yeah.
Oh, balls. Ignore what I said, everyone. Right, show us another one, Alec.
So jump forward to 2002 and the release of Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yes.
And they were doing all sorts of Star Wars figures in bizarre poses with weird action features.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, so, yes, I recognise this one.
From Return of the Jedi.
It is... Hans, how does this action feature work?
He's got a button here...
Okay. Oh, God, it's on his belt? It's like a big lump on his belt?
Yeah, if you press it down, he ostensibly has a quick draw action.
Oh, for God's sake, where he twitches his waist slightly.
Yeah, it's not a well-realised action feature.
It's really not, is it?
It's a shame because this one is quite a good likeness of Harrison Ford. And it's great if you... Stop doing that.
That's the real action feature,
That's
everyone.
a cherished childhood memory you're ruining right there. Likeness-wise, it's okay, and it's fine if you want that one specific pose from Return of the Jedi. But as far as doing anything with this figure, it is...
I'm pretty sure that this is actually Mike Oldfield.
Possibly.
Multi-percussionist Mike Oldfield, composing the theme to The Exorcist and then getting Moonlight Shadow put out.
Do you reckon he discreetly paid the toy designers to put his face on the figure?
I wouldn't put it past Oldfield.
You know what he's like.
Yeah,
when it comes to this sort of thing.
just realised I've been doing some painting in the downstairs toilet, and I've got some trapped under my thumbnail. So enjoy that, everybody at home. Yeah,
something to share.
Oldfield. Yeah, not impressed with that.
He is the first one though that has the vest as a separate piece on our list.
Oh, that is true. I do quite enjoy that. Plus, it's thin enough plastic and it fits well enough that it, looks the proper deal.
Like, I think if this one was properly articulated, I think he would be a very good Han Solo figure.
I'm in agreement, but he's not.
No.
So fuck him and his Oldfield face.
All right. Bloody hell.
Right. They've got to be doing it right these days, surely.
You would hope.
Oh no. Oh no.
But then.
Oh no! What is this?
This is what has happened. So we'll go with a before and after. So here is Han Solo in his glory days.
So this is a modern figure.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's got the talkie thing from the shoe. Yes.
Sculpted in permanent shrug.
Yeah.
With protruding gut and droopy face.
He looks really ill. What is going on?
This is a very, very strange figure.
He looks like he's melting. He's got giant eyes. What? Why is this in my house? It's horrible.
Came packed with one of the best Boba Fetts they ever did.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I have seen that Boba Fett, but that's proper. It's got all the detailing and all the work, but just everything is off.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball on this one.
I do not understand that. It looks more like some henchman of a mad scientist or something.
Yeah. And here is his insectoid-eyed counterpart.
Oh, old Han Solo.
This figure would be a decent figure if it weren't for those giant bug eyes. Like, the details and the proportions are all pretty spot on.
I, for one, welcome our insectoid overlords.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is...
frustrating because all of the other details on him are all right, but...
That's a real bloody shame.
Yeah.
Both of those, a lot of work and a lot of clever engineering gone into them for faces and positions that don't quite work. Well, at least he's not shrugging and weirdly hunchbacked, I suppose.
That is very true.
He
has a counterpart.
Oh, this one's a bit right. I'm going to have to zoom out now.
In the form of a bit more of a collector-oriented figure here. This is the Black Series Old Man Han Solo from The Force Awakens.
This doesn't appear bad at all.
It's not bad. The frustrating thing with this is it's got some great details and it's an amazing sculpt that is undermined by some pretty slapdash paint applications on his face.
Let's let the people at home decide.
This was before Hasbro brought in their digital face printing technology, and I think if they re-released this figure with that now, it would be a must-have.
He looks kind of comatose. He looks like he's been drugged.
Yeah, and the hair is the wrong colour as well, which kind of annoys me. Yeah, but it's not terrible, but it could be better. But it's all right for what it is.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like the articulation. It's got the sort of jacket doesn't quite line up around the shoulders.
Especially when you lift the arm up like that. You get
that's a vest and sleeve combination, not actually a jacket. But the face is really good. It is a shame about the paint applications on that because other than that is tip top.
Yeah.
Here we are. Sit here, Han. You can have some fun, mate. Oh, he doesn't really sit down. Actually, one of his legs doesn't go because of the holster.
Yeah.
It's where he broke his hip on set, the action figure.
I tell you what, on the subject of tip top, we'll bring in what I think is the greatest Han Solo action figure ever made.
Go on.
So this comes from Japan.
Okay.
And is bloody expensive.
When we're talking bloody expensive, we mean
that you're going to pay between 50 and 70 quid for one of these, depending on where you get it.
And it's the same scale as him here, blimey.
This is made by Bandai, specifically in their SH Figure Arts line. And this...
I've just seen the face on it. Holy shit.
Boy.
Holy fucking shit. It is a shrunken Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So that is fucking frightening.
These use digital face scanning technology, digital face printing. If you look getting really close, you can see the pixels from where they've printed the face on. And it's a really, really good likeness of Harrison Ford.
Astonishing.
Just all the details and the articulation. We've come a very long way from this. Realise.
Spot the difference, everyone.
Yeah, in 40 years, this is where we've got.
Holy crap, man. It's frighteningly accurate.
Yeah.
Also, quite enjoying all the articulation on it.
Yeah, and they hide it really nicely as well.
Yeah. Jacket fits really well and doesn't look like an extra bit, you know what I mean? That is an astonishing figure. I've got to say, though, I don't know how you're picking this up at home, but his hair is gold. Literally gold.
It's a weird thing because getting texture in hair is really difficult on action figures. Hair usually looks really flat, and if you're not using real hair, it's a challenge. And I think they've done the weird gold thing here to try and make it catch the light so it looks a bit more like hair. And from some angles it works, from some angles it doesn't. But at this scale, I'm not really sure what else you could do to make that work. But
yeah, I don't think that quite works. Everything else, though, is like, but the face is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, wow. Just wow. I'm going to hold it right up to my eye. And I can kind of see, the digital printing thing for the texture. Yeah. But you've got to hold it right up to your bloody eyeball in order to get that to appear.
If you'd shown this to me at 5 years old and said, this is the future of Han Solo figures.
Cryogenically freeze me. Yeah. I need to live in this future. Yeah. My God. Wow. Well, I think we've ended on a bloody high point there. That is astonishing.
Yes, it is. We should also point out, of course, that we were hoping to have a representation of Mr. Alden Ehrenreich in this video as Han Solo.
Yes, we bloody were. So, went around trying to get one of the new Han Solo figures from the new film, whether they be, the little one or the 6-inch or whatever. None anywhere.
These were supposed to launch here last week.
Yeah, Wookiee Wednesday.
Yeah, and
there's none in the shops.
Yeah, it's. I think people have got so sick of the distribution issues with Star Wars figures lately that they're just not putting them out. So, yeah. Well, we've got this one to go on. The true Han Solo. Anyway.
Yes, this pleases me more, but it is astonishing that you just cannot get these figures.
Yeah.
They've done no advertising with the film. There's nothing out. There's lots of Lego, actually, but Lego is always released well, isn't it? But does this come with extra hands?
He does. He comes with...
As in hands, not an extra hand.
He's got glove hands here. And he's got fists, so you can do fist fighting. He comes with an interchangeable holster.
No.
So that you can...
Oh my God, the gun doesn't come out. They have an entirely freshly sculpted one and a separate gun.
And a separately painted...
DL-44.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't get it to focus on that. That's irritating. Come on. Yay, there we are.
Truly is figure art. Or, as it is described on the box, a new standard figure series that incorporates the Bandai action figure art under the theme Pursuing Character Expression Through Humanoid Action.
I do not understand that. They printed a really good face. That has made me happy.
They should have just written that on the box.
We gone done print good face.
Yeah.
I'm going to zoom in on it just to end. There we are, guys. That's your Han Solo right there. That's your boy Harrison Ford. That is bloody astonishing, isn't it? And this is also a thing. It's got the face recognition on, but it keeps dropping off because it's not entirely sure it's a face.
Pick one.
Yeah. So let's just go through all the faces at the end with a little bit of music over the top. Can you do a Han Solo impression?
No.
Damn it, another go.
Subscribe for more.